You guys actually are popping down the street from your podcast called The Point.
That's the point.
That is the point.
What is the point?
That's the point. There's no point.
How do you become a social influencer? Like, what do you do?
It really happened to me. And don't forget to subscribe for new videos. When I met Marcus, he was on an app called Vine. He had like 7 million followers. He persuaded me to do a YouTube video with him.
What do you mean, start a YouTube channel?
I got a few thousand subscribers on YouTube, and then he was like, you have to do this full time.
Wow. Okay, so take us back to the accident.
We were on one bicycle. It was like a
Tandem bike.
There was a guy, we heard him revving his engine, like going very fast. And the last thing I remember was Marcus like, what is this guy doing? Bam.
When you go through something like that that's pretty traumatic, what's your pull away that betters you as a person?
I remember laying in the hospital bed thinking,
Hey everybody, this is Rita Springer. Welcome to the Rita Springer podcast, and worship is my weapon. Today we have a treat. I'm around the table today with some incredible social influencers that I love to death. We've got Jon Volk and Kristin Johns with us today, and you guys actually are popping down the street to come to my podcast from your podcast called That's the Point.
the point.
That is the point.
What is the point?
Chris?
You know, everyone always asks us, what do you talk about on your podcast? And we just like to remind everybody, we talk about anything and everything, and there really is no specific point. It's just two best friends catching up on life over a cup of coffee.
And that's the point. There's no point.
There's no point.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of great.
Yeah, it's the best case scenario for us because we can just catch up on life, chat, have a good time, and people love it.
Exactly.
And you when you came in here, Kristin, you don't really do podcasts.
No,
I'm shocked by that.
I know. I have been on...
Do you get asked all the time?
I have been asked before.
Yeah.
I think it's tricky because I'm here in Nashville, 2 kids. I don't travel that
Yeah.
much to like go do fun opportunities. But I have been asked to be on a few. I've been on my friends JC and Chelsea's podcast, but that's it. It's kind of shocking. I mean, you've been on more podcasts.
Yeah, have you
than me,
been on
Donna.
more podcasts, Jon?
Not really.
No.
A few. Maybe like 3 or 4.
Wow. Do you ever get invited to come on and talk about your photography?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've been on Steven Cezanne's podcast, and I did photography and creative direction for them. So within that realm.
Okay, so let's bring people that watch this podcast into who you guys are. They probably already know, but But I've known Jon. Okay, just how old were you when I met you? Because I always say like 8, 9, 7.
Yeah,
6.
I was 7.
You were 7.
Yeah.
So Jon's family, I've known them forever, and he's known Justice since before Justice was born.
Yeah.
And they were just all family together. And Jon started taking photographs when you were
13, 14. Yeah.
homeschool kid, and you were taking like junior college classes in photography.
No, I didn't take any school.
You just asked for a camera and started taking photographs.
Yeah.
And so you started just taking our photographs every Christmas.
Yeah.
Essentially. Year. And then can you kind of refresh the story for me, because I keep forgetting it. Do you remember, maybe I made this up in my head. Remember when did you take a class in your photography classes where you were trying to figure out how to do light and dark, like light skin, dark skin, and you like won an award in it, or you like did really well in it? Did I make that up in my head?
Like, I think you got the wrong photographer.
No, Jon, pull it back. Come on, pull it. Go to the Rolodex.
Awards.
No, I didn't get any award.
But didn't you didn't you like learn how to like photograph? Like for Justice, he's so dark and I'm so white.
Yeah.
You had to kind of learn the lighting on that.
Yes, I think I did shoot film of you and Justice in my darkroom, and I had to kind of master doing both light and dark skin. And,
because I never found anybody that could shoot us the way you did. And I think because you really understood that that quality because he'd be at like you even couldn't even find him.
Yeah. Well, at such a young age, I started shooting you guys.
I know.
And then I shot
I got pictures all over my house.
Yeah, all over, all through high school, every Christmas. And now when I come to your house, I feel like I'm going through a gallery of all
Yeah,
my
I know,
photos.
a portfolio. But you also have taken all the shots of me over the years, and it's to your credit with all the Fed by Raven stuff. Is you because you'll go on these adventures with me where I'll traipse you out to somewhere and be like, I felt like the Lord told me to do this.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, okay, let's do it. And then you knew Kristin in California when you were living in LA.
Yeah.
And Kristin, this was my story of you. I just knew he had these social influencer friends out there. And at that point, social influencers had been out for a while, but I just didn't follow many of them. But we followed him through Jon. I followed him through Jon. And he tells me this story about you and your husband, Marcus. And then I don't know if you called me up or I saw you, whatever. And then he was telling me about your accident. So I want you to talk about that. But I also want you to go back to how did this all start for you? Because you were living in LA. Mm-hmm. And how do you become a social influencer? Like, what do you do to decide to do that? What happened to you?
Yeah, it really happened to me. I didn't pursue it at all. It wasn't expecting it at all. I was in college. I was a freshman in college when I met Marcus.
What college?
FSU. Florida State.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we met my freshman year. He was on an app called Vine. He had like 7 million followers. It was like a whole huge thing. Girls chasing him around campus. Like it was.
And Marcus got popular on Vine because of one video or just a couple videos he was taking?
He just did comedy videos that went viral. I think he was like the first person to hit 1 million followers on Vine. So he was like one of the first kind of creators on there. And that world was so foreign to me, but I met him through his sister Shelby. We were in a Bible study together.
Okay.
And Shelby introduced us, and it just opened my mind to a whole the world of social media and just how big and influential it really was. Because of course I had Instagram and stuff, and I was just posting pictures of my dog, and I wasn't trying to be like some type of influencer. But then Marcus was really the one that kind of like catapulted me into the world.
So you were dating him and you were like, this guy's crazy.
Yeah, genuinely. I was like, he is so crazy. And it was really an opposites attract situation because I was so shy. So shy. And he is the most outgoing, funny, charismatic person. And I was just so drawn to him because he was just the life of the party, so hilarious.
Yeah.
And
he is so funny. Marcus is so funny.
He's just so funny, but also he has a very sweet, gentle heart. And so, I mean, on our first date, we were like, yeah, we're going to get married. We're going to X, Y, Z. And yeah, it was really like love at first sight, which is special.
So what, do you just kind of follow suit and get on Vine? Were you on Vine first?
No, he forced me to be in a couple of his Vine videos. And that's when people started being like, oh, does Marcus Johns have a girlfriend? And they saw some like sneak peeks of me. And then, you know, he would tag me on Instagram. I would get a couple thousand followers. And then he persuaded me to do a YouTube video with him. And he said at the end of the video, you know, I just made a YouTube channel for Kristin. Everyone go subscribe. I got a few thousand subscribers on YouTube. And then he was like, you have to do this full time. Like, you would be so good at it. I'm like, no way. And now 10 years later, I'm still doing it.
Yeah, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
So when did you guys move to LA and meet Jon? Like, how did that happen?
Well,
I don't know
Marcus
how this...
had already moved to LA. So we did long distance for 3.5 years. And then I moved to LA when we got married in 2017. So he lived there for 7 years. I think I lived there for 5 years total.
And did you know Marcus before?
No.
So how did you meet
We
them?
met at Stevie and Suzanne's baby shower, 2017. I was kind of welcoming people in, and I saw Marcus and Kristin, and I said, hey guys, welcome, you know, whatever. Marcus talked to me. Kristin barely even looked at me. She was like,
I was so shy.
She was a shy gal.
You still are pretty shy.
Yeah, I would say I'm still shy around people that I don't know super well.
Which
but
your
it just
fan
takes me
base is
time to
all
open up.
people you don't know really well.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why when you see me in public, I might be a little bit shy. But
No, but we met at CV and Cezanne's, and then from there, we all kind of started a Bible study, would meet
Wow.
weekly, and then we just got close. All of us kind of became a little community there in LA. So, in
Yeah,
2017.
and then that's all you guys were doing is just social influencing. So can you break that down for me? What do you do? Like, I know what Marcus does, these funny little videos, but what do you decide to do? Are you like, oh, I love cooking. Oh, I love decor. Or do you come to the table with that? Or is it just anything that strikes you in the moment?
I think for me, I'm lucky because I started so long ago that my audience has kind of grown with me because they started following me when I was 19 in this sketchy old college house with my best friends. And now I've had kids. I've been through many different things. I'm married, living in Nashville. So it's kind of like I've grown up with my audience and they've seen that. But I've always just shared what I'm into in the moment and my passions. And like in the beginning, it was really like I loved makeup. So I'd do makeup videos, fashion videos, stuff like that. And now I'm more so into like homemaking, baking, sharing about, just anything.
So as your life just kind of ebbs and flows, you just add on all those things that you love in it.
Exactly, yeah.
I know that I've talked about it here before, and many of you probably use HelloFresh, but I am so grateful for their sponsorship, but really so grateful for their product. HelloFresh is kind of comes all ready for you meal. So for me as a single parent, when I started using it, it just alleviated a lot of like the daily pressures of being a single mom and doing stuff all day long and then having not to have to come home and figure out what to make for dinner. And so HelloFresh actually provides everything that you need for that particular meal is already included, and it just makes everything so incredibly easy. There are over 50 recipes to choose from. And so if you're a vegan, if you love different kinds of meats or not different kinds of proteins and meats, which was our case, you can just pick and choose what you want. If you go to hellofresh.com/free worship, you get 10 free meals scattered over 7 boxes. And that's for new subscribers. So go to hellofresh.com/free worship today and start to make your life a whole lot easier. Wow. Okay. So take us back to the accident. Because that felt, to me, not knowing you guys, but hearing the story, that felt like a kind of a life shift for you.
Definitely.
And you're a woman of faith. Were you raised in the church?
Yeah, I was. My parents both raised me Christian. I grew up going to a private Christian school. I was saved when I was like 6 at a Christian camp called Pine Cove. And
wow.
Yeah,
Justice went to Pine Cove. That's hilarious.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Shout out Pine Cove. What a great place.
Like Tyler, Texas, Pine Cove?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I went there till I was a junior in high school, I think.
Wow.
I feel like I hadn't really made my faith my own until like late high school. Really got into it because I was dealing with horrible anxiety, insomnia, just like really being spiritually attacked. Like could not leave my house, crippling anxiety. And then I finally just broke down on my knees in my bed. I remember I was a junior in high school and I said, God, take this from me because I cannot survive another moment like this. From that moment, I have never dealt with that type of crippling anxiety again. And that was really the shift when I was like, oh my gosh, I can go to college. Like I can leave home. I can do this. And so that's really when I feel like I made my faith my own. And then, the accident happened in 2020 and that was a whole nother just life-altering situation.
You and Marcus are married at this point, living in LA, and you're on bicycles.
We were on one bicycle. It was like a tandem
bike.
Marcus was in the front. I was in the back. It was during COVID, so everyone's always walking, how everyone was like walking outside all the time to just do something.
Especially in LA.
Yes, and we were just in a cute little safe neighborhood, Toluca Lake. And there was a guy, we heard him revving his engine, like going very fast. And the last thing I remember was Marcus like, what is this guy doing? Bam. He hit us straight on. We both flew 50 feet in the air. We landed like semi next to each other.
Good
and
gosh.
he kept going. I remember sitting up and just seeing, I'm like, he's still going. He's literally not stopping.
Wow.
And a police was chasing him, and that's why he was running from the
control.
cops, basically. And so we don't know if he hit us on purpose to distract from that or whatever. I don't know, because he never was caught. So
They never caught the guy.
no, never. He's still out there living his best life, or who knows? I don't know, but.
Wow, what about the car? Didn't they know who was in the car?
Yeah, it was a rented car, and he was not from LA. He was actually from Memphis, and so they didn't have enough evidence to extradite him back from Memphis to California, because a few of the witnesses, because there was like 30 witnesses outside, a few of them incorrectly identified him, so that allegedly, I don't know.
So they know who the guy is.
Yeah, I know his name.
Do you want to say it on the air?
Nah, I don't want him to hunt me down. I don't need the drama. I've already, through therapy, like I've fully forgiven him, and me and Marcus both had to do that because we had so much anger that we didn't know, unresolved anger in our hearts towards that man, and fully forgiven him, hope for the best for him. Because holding on to that pain is just...
But you had quite a recovery process, both you and Marcus, in that. How long were you in the hospital?
I was in the hospital for 3 weeks, and I shattered my femur and my hip, but they missed the hip fracture, so they were making me stand to like get my blood flow going.
Gosh.
And then I was passing out like 12 to 15 times a day, and they're like, well, you can't leave until you stand up for 5 minutes. But they didn't know. I was passing out because my hip was broken. So they finally sent me home, and then they call us, and they're like, hey, guys, so you actually do have a hip fracture, and you need to come in immediately because if it fractures anymore, you'll have to have a full hip replacement. So my family...
And you're how old at this time? 20 what?
How old was I?
2020.
Yeah. So I was 24 or 25.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I was 24. Yeah. And so they fixed my hip. Then I get blood clots in my lungs. It was lots of near-death experiences. And Marcus broke the bottom of, or his tibia. I always forget the name of the bottom of the leg is what I always say. But yeah, we were bedridden. Then I was in a wheelchair. Then I was in a walker. Then I was in crutches. Jon saw it all.
How was that for you? Because you weren't there that day.
No, but what's so funny is I was FaceTiming Marcus and Kristin. I was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Kristin had these two little braids in and was acting dumb. And then the next time she FaceTimed me, which was the following day, she still had those exact same braids in from the hospital.
I had those braids in for 3
gosh.
weeks.
Yeah, she looked like that for 3 weeks.
And they never, this is a totally different tangent, but they never bathed me or brushed my teeth. So when I came home.
In the 3 weeks?
They would like wipe me down a little bit if I like asked them 20 times. No, it was horrible. Like it was medical malpractice, and I'm not suing anyone because I've forgiven and moved on, but my hair was matted.
Is that because of COVID, do you think?
Yes, because I could not have anyone in there advocating for me.
Oh,
So it was
gosh,
just a
Kristin,
horrible
how
situation.
horrible.
I do not wear braids. They give me too much trauma. Those braids were in my hair for so long. So it's funny that you remember the braids.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why now she's into soap.
Yeah.
No, I haven't gone a day without showering since the accident.
'Cause you're
I'm
triggered.
like traumatized. Like I'm like, that was the most horrible feeling.
And
I
before
can't
the
even
accident-
imagine.
Before the accident,
Okay, Jon, I don't know what you're about to say.
she used to do spray tan, and we would all go and do like workout classes together. And she
Look,
wouldn't.
he's nasty for saying
She
that.
wouldn't shower because she didn't want to
Well,
wipe her spray tan.
you're
off.
right.
I wasn't like the most like shower crazy person, but now it's like I must shower.
Well, and
every
that spray
single
tan's
second.
janky smelling.
Oh yeah, so you know I wasn't smelling great.
Well,
lived and
that's
I've learned.
horrifying. What about Marcus? Is he down the hall hobbling down to your room?
Yeah, once we got hit, I looked over at Marcus and I thought he was brain dead because he had throw up coming out of his mouth.
Oh, God.
He was babbling. All he kept saying over and over was just like, Jesus help us, Jesus help us, Jesus.
Yeah.
But he was like, Mommy's like, Jesus help us. Like, I was like, okay, he's brain dead. And great. My leg is laying over my whole body. Like, I'm like, I was like, I'm never going to walk in. My husband is brain dead. In that moment, I was just like, my life was over from what I could understand.
I mean, did you feel the presence of God in that trauma at all?
Yes. It's so weird because I've never felt God's presence more than in the darkest, most terrifying moments of my life. It's like his peace is so palpable in like that moment of despair. It's like I knew I could take two paths. It's like I could freak out and go down the path of just like negativity. Why did this happen? Like, how could God let this happen? Or fully just be like, thank you, Jesus, for saving my life. And that's the path that Marcus and I both took. So through the whole season of recovery, I just clung to that because I knew if I let go of that, I could go down into just like the deepest pits of despair. And I, of course, had my dark, sad moments, but Jesus truly carried us through that time. Like I remember laying in the hospital bed and all I wanted to do was like listen to worship music or like pray or something, but I could not because I knew I would just lose it because God's presence was like so there that I like couldn't even like open the door to like feeling anything in that moment. I was just like,
and were you kind of left kind of alone in that room?
Yes,
because no family could ever come in there.
No, my mom was allowed to come in twice during my right after my femur surgery and right after my hip surgery.
And you couldn't see Marcus? No,
they wheeled Marcus into the room with me like once, I think, and then he went home a lot sooner than me because he had less like complications. So I was so alone.
Wow,
it was a rough time for sure.
And you kind of when you moved here 2019.
We moved here, no,
2021.
2021, right, because that's 2020.
Because we were like, we're out of here.
And you still kind of like, your rehabilitation from that accident was kind of like, it was a while.
Yeah, it was. I was still limping when I was pregnant with James, I remember, which is crazy. Because I got pregnant with my son, I mean, like 5 or 6 months after the accident, and we were like, we got to move. LA just did not feel like the right place for us anymore. And I'm so thankful that we did. But yeah, we were having like a physical therapist come to the house every single day, stretching our legs out. It was just like the most painful, horrible experience. But we were actually just talking about it this morning. Me and Marcus, we were like, it's so crazy that we don't have horrible chronic pain in our legs.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, what's the prognosis now in the post?
I feel great. I've worked so hard at getting my strength back.
Yeah.
And I mean, we still have like some creaks and cracks here and there.
Yeah, and you've got scars, obviously.
Yeah, we've got scars, but it's nothing close.
What do you pull away from something like that? With even what you guys do, like when you go through something like that that's pretty traumatic, what's your pull away, whether it's a spiritual pull away or just a mental, emotional pull away that betters you as a person?
I remember laying in the hospital bed thinking, Kristin, do not ever forget this feeling of remembrance that your relationship with God and your family and your friends and your health is all that matters. Like, don't ever get caught up in the stupid little things that we all stress about. I'm like, please just remember that, because I was just like, I did not care about anything except for family, health, and God. Yeah. And of course, I forget every single day, but I really do. When I need to like ground myself, I try to like go back to that moment of being like, that nothing else matters. Like, why do we get caught up in all these like worldly stresses when something like that really brings you back to reality of what's important in life? But it's so hard to remember
when it's past and it's done.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. So since then you've moved here, And you guys kind of work together a lot in photography.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you start working with Jon, like just with the photography? That's kind of what you did first, right, Jon? Is you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jon would shoot stuff for my brand Kristin made. We would shoot we would do just like random photo shoots together all the time.
Now, did you start Kristin Made in LA or here?
LA, yeah.
So what is all Kristin Made? It's like, are you like in the back with the sewing machine? Knitting a
Practically,
cozy,
that
tea cozy?
brand really was like 2 full-time jobs. Once I moved here, I actually like put it on a pause because I was about to have my first child.
Yeah.
I just moved across the country. But it was so fun. It was such a successful passion project, and it was something that me and Jon got to work on together super closely. And I think that's when we realized how well we work together. And like even in the most stressful circumstances, I just remember being like, if I was working with anyone right now besides Jon, I would be so stressed and annoyed right now. But Jon just has this ability to just make situations feel light and fun, even if they're not. And I think that's when we started becoming super close because we were like working on Kristin Made. He was shooting a ton of my brand deals. And then, of course, just always hanging out with our friends. And then I met Emily and the whole Volk family.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we started our work relationship.
Yeah. And I remember we were shooting for Kristin Made, and she'd be like, can you pull over? And she just starts throwing up first trimester with James.
Oh, God.
Horrible.
Like we did so many hilarious shoots where we were just in situations and we were just like laughing. And like, she's such a workhorse though. Like she works harder than anyone. When something needs to get done, she will be there and she gets it done. But we always call her Kylie because anytime she launches something, it's all sold out in 5 minutes.
Oh, gosh.
Anytime she
I
releases
know.
something, she just has like this little gold dust on her life.
What do you think that is? Because that's the thing that when you talk to me about her, I'm like, what is it? Like, what is it about certain people that they just, what is the draw to Kristin? Like, what do you think the draw to Kristin is that people have?
I can't wait to hear your answer.
I will share.
I love a compliment.
Oh, she loves a compliment. I think the biggest thing with Kristin is she's so authentic and she's not trying to be the most successful person in the room. She's not trying to be a trendsetter. She's just doing what she loves. And I think her audience has connected so well with that. And they support her so much. She has like one of the most loyal, engaged audiences.
Yeah.
And so whenever she does something, they rally and they're like, we love you and we want to support you. And so anytime she does something, it's like gold touches it and everyone wants it. Truly.
How does that feel? Like, does that make you
she
feel
loves
weird?
it. Are you kidding?
No, it's funny because I do not feel that way. Like, I don't consciously feel like it feels like imposter syndrome in a way of like, I don't feel like I have my life together. I don't feel like I'm like this successful person. I really don't. It's like, oh my gosh, I could be doing so many other things and
I think she's blinded to it. She doesn't even realize how successful it is because all of our friends who are in very similar fields, they don't have the engagement or whatever, and she doesn't even see it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's very humble and doesn't think much of it. So go ahead.
Thank you. I mean, yes, I do see that I have a very engaged audience, and I would attribute a lot of that to just having done this for so many years so consistently that people really do connect with my life and like really feel like they know me as like whether it be like a big sister or just like a friend. But I don't know. I mean, I literally don't know.
But with an audience that big, do you ever feel like, do you wake up some days and be like, I can't be all things to all people?
Yeah. No, but not really to like Instagram or like my followers. I just more so I'm like, how can I be the best wife and mom and friend and like businesswoman? Like sometimes I'm like, I actually can't do all of this right now. Like I can't be great at all of them at once.
So where's your balance in, like, if you don't get on Instagram every day, if you, that's your livelihood, that's who you are. How do you balance like that? And if you want to take a week off and not post, God forbid, like what, how would you do it?
I don't think I've ever done that.
God forbid you ever do.
No, I think I used to put so much pressure on myself to have this specific perfect image and like every photo had to be perfect. Every video had to be perfect. Everything was like so curated. And yes, I was still being true to like my authentic self, like sharing bits and pieces of like my personality on YouTube and stuff like that. But once I had James, my first son, I was like, I've got to let this pressure that I'm putting on myself go, because this ain't gonna work. Like, I'm not gonna be able to just, I mean, Jon has seen it firsthand. Like, I used to be so particular with like the photo, like had to be perfect. Like, there'd be a million cute photos, but I'd be like, no, we haven't gotten the right one yet. Now it's like, we got it in 2 shots. It's fine.
But I also think the accident changed you.
Yeah.
And had the accident not happened, James probably would not be here. Like, everything changes, obviously, from that point on. And she's always been an amazing person, but since the accident and since having kids, there's just been more of a just like reality, like what actually matters in life. So much more than social media.
I wonder if that kind of helps break a little bit of that perfectionism off when that wasn't a perfect season.
Right.
That was an imperfect, really tough season.
Yeah, and I shared a lot in that season, and people kind of like followed along and saw that bad thing happen to maybe this person that they viewed as like, she has a perfect life. And I think maybe that's another reason why people connect.
I could totally see
is
that.
because they're like, oh, this girl has been through some shiz. Like, it's not just like she's just like this little bubblegum unicorn. Everything's perfect. But
I do wonder too, though, if because the pure kind of easygoing character that you kind of carry in your personality feels trustworthy. So I can see how people trust that. I mean, she's a little different than Kylie.
Oh,
not by much.
Kylie Jenner.
You know, I think that sweet home, kind, humility, that I think people still want. I think women still want to believe that's in all of us. At least I do. Yeah. You know, I mean, right now I'm a rageaholic because I'm going through menopause.
That's all right. I have my moments for sure. And so is Jon. He ain't perfect like we all think.
Exactly. I never said I was.
But he is more perfect than me, I will say.
Kristin, shut up.
You kind of are, Jon.
Yeah, he
really?
honestly
yes,
is. The whole
you're
Volk
more
family,
perfect. The whole Volk family. Nobody can keep up with you.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. I want to take a minute to talk to those of you and encourage those of you who maybe you're planting a church, you're on staff at a church, you're in the children's department of a church, and you run and oversee the curriculum at your kids' division of church. There is some friends of mine that have developed this curriculum that I just think it's the best curriculum for kids' church out there. It's called Amazing Kids. It is a Bible-based, spirit-filled curriculum. I know these guys. They are incredible creatives. Connie and Tyler Bates are the genius behind this, and they just love serving kids and serving God in serving our kids. If this is something that your church is looking for, if it's something that you as a pastor of your children's department is looking for, an enriched Bible-based curriculum to bring to your children's department of your church or your church plant, this is something that I would highly recommend that you do. I fully believe and back what these guys do. My own kid was under it for years, and it's just the way that they're doing it right now is just beautiful. So you can find all that information if you go to amazing.kids, and there's a kind of a special discount code that you can get, or a promotional code that you can get if you type in Rita in the promotional area of that, and they'll give you special pricing on that. But it's something that I just highly recommend. And kids are so important. They're so important in our churches. What we do when we drop our kids off in church and what's happening in the Sunday school area is so important for your children. And this curriculum is one of the best, and you will love it for your church. So check that out. It's incredible, and I back it 100%. But here's what I do want to know. Do you, in your head as a guy creative, do you evolve in your head like, in 5 years, I'd love to be doing this, or I'd love to be doing that? I mean, how are you in the process of, I mean, yeah, your photographs will get better, but what do you want to do? Like, what is your big dream? Is photography your big dream? Like,
Great question.
I mean, we do have to announce that you just did a huge thing.
I did. I released a Christmas EP last week because I thought, why the heck not?
Why the heck not?
You know?
Which, do people around you know that you love to sing?
No. And I don't sing.
Gosh,
I don't
Jon.
sing for anything, you know what I mean? But I used to sing back in the day at
Used to
church.
sing it, yeah.
And I sang
Prayer
for
rooms.
Hallmark and Lifetime Christmas movies as like a little side thing in LA.
Yeah.
So I always, and Christmas, we grew up doing Christmas with you. I love Christmas.
Oh, I know.
And Christmas music brings all the nostalgia and the memories back.
Yep.
You know? So I've always wanted to do a little EP, so I thought, why not do it? So I did.
So you did. I just love that. So you did. And then you didn't tell anybody you were doing it.
I didn't even tell Kristin. I told Kristin on our
I know.
podcast.
I saw that little flip. That was so great.
3 days before it came out. I said, so I have a life update. I'm releasing a Christmas album.
And your Christmas EP is called A Very Johnny Christmas.
Yep.
And it's just got 5 precious, right? 5?
4.
Four really just great special Christmas songs in there. Everybody needs to go get it. Okay, so yeah, but what's next?
The thing is I have my hands in a lot of things. As a creative, I love doing different things. So I do art direction. I do photography. I own a tour company with my dad.
Yep.
We take trips to Israel and to Greece, biblical-based tours. And I'm always doing, I get bored very easily. So
Yeah.
I'm always trying to do something new. We obviously have the podcast now. So I don't know, like the goal is to make enough money by the time I'm in my 40s, I can just retire and do anything
Honestly,
creative I want.
do you think you ever would? Do you think you would?
I don't know.
You would. I mean, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you do if you retired just to do nothing?
I mean, I would travel. I would cook. I don't know. I would go photograph things for fun.
Yeah.
I'm getting more into a place where I'm like, how can I use my creativity but make residual income from it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be releasing some prints within the next few months.
Yeah,
and
I wondered how come you haven't done that so far.
Yeah, I've never thought about it, honestly. But Kristin's book that we shot together.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, which we shot together 2 years ago, kind of opened my eyes to creating content that's just visual content. 'Cause
Yeah.
I always was doing editorial models, people.
Yeah.
And so working on this project with her was really fun creatively because I had to make things beautiful without a human as the subject matter.
And it is such a beautiful book. I love that it's not gigantic. I love that it's like accessible. You could pull it off a shelf. And it's not, I don't need 500 recipes.
Yeah.
I just need a few.
Yeah.
There's only 24 in there, right?
Yeah. And that's why I love it. I love the
not
fact that
overwhelming.
you've got all the kind of the storytelling in between this. I was looking at all these pictures that Jon did. What started
Jon did
this?
so good.
Is this Harper?
This is HarperCollins. Yep. I was approached a few times by different publishers to do a book, whether it was like an autobiography, and I was like, I'm not wise enough yet to do that. So I just had the idea of kind of combining like all of my loves into a book. So recipes, plants, decorating, all of that kind of stuff. And so Growing Seasons was born, and it was a major labor of love.
Yeah.
It was so fulfilling to do.
I remember when you guys were working on this.
It was.
You were working hard on this.
Yes, it was a grind to get all of this done. But I'm like, oh my gosh, we did a book. That's pretty amazing.
In the process of, like, it's one thing to take all these photographs. That wasn't done in a day.
Oh, no.
That's in the process.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But
over a year.
Yeah.
But how do you like, what do you like? Oh, I love that favorite recipe. That's my favorite recipe. How do you pull recipes?
It was just, I combined, like I made a list of every recipe that I love and would want to include. And then I whittled it down because it goes month by month. So I did 2 recipes per month. And then I whittled it down again to be like, okay, what recipes would fit best with January? What would go with December? So we did like gumbo for November. And my mom is an amazing cook. So I just hijacked a ton of her recipes because she's incredible. And that's kind of how the process went. And I worked on my brother-in-law, Austin. He's a professional writer. He helped me like format everything, make everything sound nice and professional because I am not a professional writer. And so it was like a family affair. It was like Jon took the photos. My brother-in-law was super hands-on helping me get everything formatted and together. But wow, it was, lots of deadlines. Lots of
no, but Harper Collins loves this.
Yeah, it did really.
And
well.
Will you do a second one?
I maybe in the future. It was a lot of work that I don't know if I'm ready to dive back into.
Yeah, that's a lot of time in the kitchen.
Yes,
tasting, putting things together, what you like, what you don't.
Recipes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I remember some of that stuff you were doing.
Yeah.
That's actually your sourdough starter in the book.
Where is it?
Actually,
yeah, it's in the beginning. Yeah.
Let's see.
We didn't have
And
sourdough
I remember
starter,
that.
so-
That is one of my favorite photos in the whole book because it was exactly
Where is it,
what
Jon?
I was envisioning.
It's almost there. You're almost there.
Almost there, almost there, almost there.
Almost there. Almost there. There it is.
There's my
Rita's
sourdough starter. Yeah, you called
Bubbly
it.
as
You were
ever.
like, do you have a starter? And I was like, yeah, I got a starter.
Yeah, I was like, we need to take a picture of a starter. And so,
We're like, and who would have it? Of course, Rita.
yeah, Rita always has anything you need at
Well,
any time in the kitchen, period.
I wish that was true, but sometimes that's true. I just, I would love to do something like this, but I don't know if I have the
You
time
do.
or the stamina. I mean, it's just,
You do.
that's a lot of work doing. Do you know this about me? When I'm crazy enough to be like, hey, God, like, do you cook?
Wait, I remember you telling me that God gives you recipes in your dream, and you wake up and they're like these incredible recipes.
Like,
I wish God would give me some recipes during.
No, but it all came out of a conversation with him about like, he's like, I'm a really good cook. And I was like, oh, that's great. Well, show me how to cook sometime. And I started having dreams that I was on God's cooking channel. And he was like a cook, like, on a cooking show. And I was the camera above him and I could see what his hands were doing. And then I would wake up and remember the recipes. So my thing, Harper Collins, would be to do a book called I Dreamed of Cooking and have all the dream recipes in that book.
Rita,
Wouldn't that be the sweetest?
You have
have to do that.
Come
you
on,
know
everyone.
you know the thumbprint cookies I make?
Yeah,
That's
the jam.
Rita's dream cookies.
Over to my
That's
dream
Rita's recipe.
Okay.
I can make you a stuffed apricot chicken.
Apricot chicken.
Woo, that
Whoa.
was the first thing he cooked in the
Okay,
dream.
I think you need to do this.
I know, wouldn't that be sweet?
That would be amazing.
You need to do it.
Maybe one day.
I would come and visit Rita every year. She would fly me in to take her Christmas card photos when we didn't live in
Those
the
were
same
the
place.
days, yeah.
And I would wake up at 5:30, 6 a.m. to the smell of coffee and a scone, a casserole, cinnamon rolls, and look, she even brought some here. She had these hot and ready for us. when
I was
we
like,
arrived.
I can't have Kristin Johns come to the house without making something.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing. Like, I don't have the energy to wake up and like just absolutely dive into a recipe.
Well, you
like,
have 2 young babies
Yeah,
now.
that's true. That
know.
takes a lot.
Yeah,
of my
I didn't
energy.
have that when he was a baby either. As a single parent, I
Yeah.
didn't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get back around to it. Do you feel like you guys will, like, what's the next adventure? Because you guys are always doing some kind of an adventure together.
I know my
Like a cookbook, what?
Oh, like creatively speaking?
Yeah.
Well, we have the podcast weekly, which keeps us pretty occupied.
Yeah, my friend was asking me. She was like, what's your next big project?" I'm like, I think I'm chilling right now. Like, I'm focusing on consistently posting, doing good at my job. I'm super focused on the podcast because it's just something that's so fun and it's growing and people are loving it. So Jon and I obviously always have new ideas for that. But in terms of like a big next project, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Maybe reviving Kristin Made.
Yeah.
in the next
Yeah,
couple
how
of
come you
years.
don't do that?
It was just like I said, such a, again, labor of love. And it was so successful too, which made it really hard for me to take a pause on it because everyone was like, what? It's doing so well. Like,
Yeah,
it
what
doesn't
were
make
the
sense.
things you were making?
That's the problem. I was doing too much, and I was doing it too custom and
Yeah.
very perfectionist on everything.
And alone. She didn't have a team. She did
You
everything
did
herself.
everything by
No, I
yourself.
did have a team.
No,
John.
but not really.
Well, yeah, I had a team that helped me with like fulfillment, design, all
Yeah.
of that stuff. But it was all me, creatively, photographs, promotion, marketing, all of that.
Yeah.
So I say next time I dive into Kristin Made, I'm going to have like one product because I was doing packets of seeds, hair scarves, shirts, sweatshirts, purses, like everything.
Hats.
Whoa.
Like, because I kind of wanted it to be an all-encompassing lifestyle brand. But what I've learned is that you've got to stay in one lane because if not, it's just too convoluted. And it was just too hard. And I was doing everything custom. So it was just, things were taking forever. Things would get sold out so quickly. And then it wouldn't restock for like months. And
Because you had to make it all.
yes, because it was all custom. It wasn't like we were getting like a bulk order of mugs
Right.
we were like having them custom shaped. And like, it was too much. I was trying a little bit
Wow.
too hard on that.
That's pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
but she would have like 5,000 units of one thing, and it would sell out in less than 5 minutes.
And how do you get 5,000 off the assembly line if you're doing it yourself?
Well, like for a shirt, we weren't getting blanks from what's a blank? A Gideon. I don't
Okay,
know.
yeah.
We were getting.
Gideon.
Gideon, the worst
I'm like,
blank
when I was
around.
doing laundry this morning, I was like, "What's Marcus's shirt say?" We were
Gideon.
getting them like going to an LA
Cut and sew.
cut and sew design
Oh.
house. I
Fitting
was
them.
shaping them, and then they would have the design,
The
that they
design.
could print. But
Got
it
it.
just takes way longer than just being like, "Here's 10,000 units of Gideon." You know, what I'm
Something
saying?
that's already pre-made. Everything
Yeah.
was custom made
Right.
for you
yeah.
and sourced and yeah.
Like, I was trying to get this lemon squeezer made for 2 years. And then finally I was like, the lemon squeezer is just not going to happen. Like, I just wanted a really cute lemon squeezer. And they just
Wow.
couldn't make it happen. And that was the first product that I really actually wanted to release.
Do you squeeze that many lemons?
Yeah, because my main, like, recipe that I was making all the time, I was making homemade honey lemonade. And so it was very, like, it just made sense, and then it just never happened.
And Marcus doesn't drink water. He only drinks lemonade.
I remember
Yeah.
when Marcus came over, I had to have lemonade in the
Yeah.
refrigerator because he doesn't drink water.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's going to survive, but
Wow, so he still only drinks lemonade.
now it's apple juice
It is? That's hilarious.
because he was getting, like, stomach ulcers from all the citrus.
Yeah,
golly.
yeah, that would happen,
Yeah.
Marcus.
Yeah. Now I've tried to, like, get him onto, like, electrolytes and water because he just needs, like, a flavor, basically. So he does the electrolytes sometimes, which is good. It's a good
He
switch
doesn't
up.
drink any water.
I've never seen him drink a glass of water. Wow. It's very odd.
Yeah, it is really odd.
It's very odd.
Maybe you should do Kristin made water.
I
So
know.
he would drink
This
it.
is delicious water from the river.
But you never got the lemon squeezer off the market. All right.
I
Well,
haven't
we've got
got
a lemon
100
squeezer coming
samples.
apparently.
Maybe Kristin Made next run will just be lemon squeezers.
Lemon squeezer.
But yeah, I'm glad that I took a little pause from that.
Yeah.
because I was about to have James, and I was like, I know that I can't balance being a new mom and
Yeah.
all of this and keep it, like, at the level that I wanted it to. So,
Now you've got two. You've got James and you've got your daughter. What's your daughter's first name?
Amelia,
Amelia.
she's the best. She's 8 months old, and having 2 little ones is a lot, but it is so fun. And now they're kind of starting to interact, and that's sweet.
What's the difference for you between, I mean, James is your kids are cute. Like your kids are like baby cute.
Yeah, they're so cute.
But James being the first, like how's it been with having a sibling?
Yeah, at first it was rough. It was really rough. Like, he would cry to me and say, I want to go to a new home with just mommy and daddy and James. And, you know, my postpartum hormones were not handling that well.
Wow.
And anytime she would we would be like, I'd be like nursing her, and he'd be like, "Mommy, I need you now. Come here now." And I'm like, "I can't."
Yeah.
And that was really rough. Like the first few months, it was a real adjustment. But now he mostly just like ignores her existence.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he'll go up to her and be like, get cuteness aggression. But
he's never like hauled off and smacked her yet.
no, not yet. He's very sweet with her, actually.
Yeah.
And I can like see the love in his heart for her. But at first, like I was talking to Joe and Jessa, and Beckham, their oldest son, like loved Lennon right away, just like obsessed. I'm like, oh, that will definitely happen for me.
Yeah.
It was the opposite situation, but it's fine now.
Wow. And how many kids do you want?
I think I'm good with 2.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. I'm surprised by that.
I'm good with 2 right now.
Okay.
Like you'll have to call me in 2 years, and maybe I'll be ready for a 3rd, but I don't know. Like, I just want to be able to give them like my full love and attention. And I think the thing that sets different parents apart from people that have the capacity to have 5 kids and people that have 1 kid, it's like your capacity for chaos. And like, I don't think I have like a huge abounding capacity for chaos. Like, I really enjoy peace and quiet and a clean house. And once 5 kids enter the chat, like, say
over.
goodbye to peace.
How many in your family?
I just have 1 sister, so I'm used to just 2.
I thought you said you had a brother.
No.
Oh,
An older sister, and Marcus has a sister and a brother.
Yeah. But he's got a massive family.
I know, and they all want many hundreds of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, John, we need to find you a woman first.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. He has many suitors. They slide into the DMs of the podcast, but he never responds.
John, this is your big break. This is your big op.
Yeah.
I know. He just wants to find someone.
I don't think I've
naturally,
ever
and I
seen you so
understand
quiet.
Well, I mean, what am I going to do? Just respond to everybody? Yes, let's go for coffee.
Well,
that. Yeah. I could never date in this day and age.
It's tough.
that's tough.
Being single online, because you don't want to meet someone even on a dating app. It's like you just want like a platonic, normal like meetup with someone and be like, "Oh, I like you. Let's hang out." You know?
Yeah. But
So-
you are an exceptional guy.
Thank you, Rita.
Like, he's an exceptional guy.
I always say whoever marries Jon Volk is the luckiest woman.
The luckiest woman.
Because he will be cooking for you, waking up early with the babies,
Oh,
because he wakes
gosh.
up at 4 a.m.
He'll
anyway.
have coffee by your bedside.
Yes, he knows how to help you decorate.
Oh, gosh. Family
Family
my house.
photos for free.
Art director, you know, it just comes with it all.
Oh, John, that's hilarious. Okay, so we're entering into the holiday season. What do you like? Well, first, let me back up and just say this. What is the one thing that with what you do, whether it's on the podcast or whether it's just in your branding or whatever you guys do, what is the one thing you really want people encouraged by? Like, what's your life message?
That is a hard one.
Well, we talked on the podcast this weekend when you and I were putting up your Christmas tree.
Yeah.
We also kind of talked
Yeah.
about it. But one of my favorite books is called 40 Days to a
Yeah.
Joy-Filled Life, which is Philippians 4:8. Think on everything that is pure, holy, upright, sound mind. And we had a conversation, a deep convo this week on the podcast, just talking about comparison, blessings, thinking out of lack.
Yeah.
You know,
Whew.
and I think it's so
Stuff that's
easy.
hard to do, especially in this season.
Well, I just think, especially in the holiday season, especially just like with social media running as rampant as it is, to where there's so much comparison, there's so much negativity out there. It's setting your mind on things above and like choosing joy, choosing peace, choosing Jesus.
Yeah.
I think is my biggest thing, because you'll never find true happiness and fulfillment unless you have the peace of God in your life. And that's what I would say. And that devotional has truly changed my life. I know I got it for you.
Oh yeah.
We did it with
you do it every year, don't you?
We do it every January, and we've started doing it with the podcast now.
Oh wow.
On our Patreon, we do a book club, and we post every day for 40 days. But that's what I would say. I mean,
My I know. Oh my gosh, wait. Say the question again.
Like, what is your life like anthem that you want to whatever you do, and whether it's Kristin made, whether it's, you know, what you advertise and what you say on the podcast, what is your life's message that you want people to be encouraged by?
I just think, something in my book that was kind of like the underlying theme throughout, it just like finding the light in your life.
Yeah.
Like through every season, we all go through really hard seasons and we all go through great seasons. But being able to, like for me, look to God in those seasons and find joy and happiness and like seeing his goodness even in seasons that are so difficult, and you're like, where is the light right now? Like where is the light at the end of the tunnel? Where is God in my life right now? Just encouraging people to kind of find that peace and light in their life throughout even like the hardest struggles, even when things are good or when they're bad.
Yeah.
I think that would be like my underlying hope for people that follow me, to see that, you know, through it all, just trust in God. And yeah.
I think one other thing I'll say real quick is that we were talking about, it's so easy for both of us to think about the 100 negative things going on in our life, compared to the thousands of blessings that we have.
Constantly,
And how, you know, if there's one negative comment on Instagram and 2,000 good ones, the only one you're thinking of is the negative one.
Yeah.
You know? And it's so like the enemy to try and get us to look at the one or two bad things going on in our lives.
Yeah.
And I feel like for both of us, it's choosing the blessings and thinking out of the blessing mindset compared out of the lack. And instead of looking at the downfalls of maybe a few hundred, there's thousands of things that the Lord has done in our life that we're going to choose to focus on instead.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm really bad at that.
Well,
Like I see that negative comment and I'm like spiraling.
well, that's the perfectionist.
Yeah, I'm like, but why would they think that? Like,
Do you ever comment back, or do you just go delete?
I've been in some situations where I have responded, and
She can get nasty.
no,
Wow.
I never get nasty.
I'm kidding.
No, but I have responded and been like, why do you see it this way? Or like, that's just not true, because it's never anything good comes from like responding to someone like that, because all they're looking for is attention.
Yeah.
And then you're giving it to them, and then they're just absolutely feral for that attention. So now I just block, delete, forget.
Most of those kind of people too, that I don't know if they're bots but then if you go to their profiles,
their profile says live, laugh, love Jesus. I'm like, I'm scared.
Literally, they're beautiful, wonderful people.
It's like mama of 3 choosing Jesus every day, and they're like, you nasty.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, they're always the nastiest ones, unfortunately.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
If I this may be kind of in the same kind of circle, but it's just a different way that I'm going to put it and say it. But I ask everybody this at the table. When I talk about burning, what do we burn for as opposed to what we're gifted in? We have our giftings, but our gifting isn't what we burn for. So if your gifts are your car, your burning is the gasoline you put in your car. So like for me, I might write songs, lead worship, sing, whatever, dream about God making food. But I burn for courage. So courage is in everything that I do, to throw courage onto people. So if you were to be asked what you burn for, like when you walked into this room, whatever you were burning for will be left hanging in the atmosphere when you walk out. What is your burning? Because that's your life source.
The thing that just popped into my mind is authentic connection with people.
That's so good.
Like, I really value getting past the small talk phase with people, whether it's followers or friends or family or my husband. It's like, I just want to feel that authentic understanding for each other and the authentic connection.
Well, what's so cool about that is that you create kind of authentic connection with people that you don't even know that feel like they know you just because of the way you communicate online. So that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
What about you, John?
I would say, I don't know if
I don't know this about you.
I don't know if this is actually the right answer, if I understood it correctly, but I would say people. Like, I have such a heart for people to feel valued, to feel, even creatively photographing them, to feel beautiful, to feel seen, noticed. I've always had a heart for people, and I think everything that I do in my life points back to people creatively.
Yeah.
And so I just have a genuine like passion and burning for people, and for them to feel known, loved, and appreciated, you know?
So good. Yeah, that's so good. I would say that about you too.
Yeah, for sure.
Favorite Christmas song?
Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Snow by Jon Volk.
John, you want to give us a couple lines from your...
Snow.
Oh, are you going to sing it with me?
I was going to.
Snow, snow.
His lip is quivering.
Snow. Well, you have to quiver the lip if you want a little vibrato. You know what I mean, Rita? I'm not a real artist. I'm just trying.
Oh, will you sing us a little, have yourself a little merry
No,
little...
I will not.
Why?
Never will perform on the spot.
I mean, no. I mean, I can't do it in the presence of a true artist, the greatest of all time. You know what? I have a funny story. Rita asked me to sing with her. I used to sing backup for Rita Springer, my glory days. And she goes, hey, I have a prayer meeting. Will you come and sing background vocals for me? And I said, yeah, sure. Well, we get to the Capitol building in Tennessee. And I'm like, what the heck are we doing? We go through like 4 layers of security. We go to the tippity top.
John,
the governor, Bill Lee, walks in and says, thank you guys so much for doing it. I'm like, what the heck am I doing?
Oh my God.
Bill Lee invites his top, 20, 30 people, leaders, to pray over the state of Tennessee once a month or something. And there I am standing there singing with Rita. Michael W. Smith is in the front row. I'm like, what the heck am I doing? And then Rita asked Michael to come up and lead a song. So Rita says, stay there. She gets down, and Michael W. Smith and I are singing How Great Thou Art. I'm like, what? She likes to throw us in situations,
You gotta throw them. You gotta throw them in the ring, man, and see how they ride.
But it was great. I mean, it was kind of like a "what the heck am I doing here" moment. But
that's the best.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody! This is Rita Springer. Thank you so much for coming in and joining me on the podcast here with Worship is My Weapon. There's a lot of things I'm doing right now, and one of the things that we provide alongside this podcast is a newsletter that we do that we send out to those of you that are subscribed, where I just answer questions and kind of give you information. And sometimes you guys are able to write in with questions that you just are curious about. We love that. We love that interaction. I actually love to interact with those of you that want something a little bit more beyond the podcast. So if that's you, make sure to get our newsletter, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the newsletter, and stay in touch with all the things that we're doing here on the podcast in that newsletter. What do you guys want for Christmas this year? What's the big gift?
What do I want?
I really want a Le Creuset Dutch oven.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have one?
You don't have one?
No, I don't have anything Le Creuset.
Attention, Le Creuset. Attention, Le Creuset.
I'm like, attention, Marcus. Please go head over to Williams-Sonoma.
I mean, can you get an endorsement deal from them? Let's do it. Come on.
I don't think they endorse me. Maybe they would. I don't know.
A Dutch oven. All right.
If I want like a big, heavy, like cast iron Dutch oven to make.
Yeah.
I made a roast last night, and I was like, I needed a big old Dutch oven to make like a big old Christmas roast.
All right, that's practical.
Christmas roast?
Yeah.
Christmas duck.
I don't really know what I want. I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I want a BMW.
Okay.
That's what I truly
wow.
want.
Wow. Oh, right.
Le
Okay.
Creuset and BMW.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't think of anything that's like on my
Bunch of
Christmas
greedy
list.
people on
so
my podcast.
I want a new car. That's what I want. So if anyone wants to give me, hit me up.
BMW for the endorsement.
We need a Dutch oven over here, and we need a BMW over here.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on my podcast, guys.
Love you, Rita.
Would
This
you
is
guys
so fun.
like to have a scone?
Yeah, now it's
Oh yeah,
time
let's
to dig
let's
in.
taste these because I'm sure these God
Take
scones are just
take
gonna
a
be.
plate. Take a plate.
Okay.
These God-given scones.
Wait, let's
God.
God given. Let's cheers and do
Oh,
a
yeah.
little like
Like, what?
I don't know taste test because they're gonna be that good.
They're going to be that good. Are you
Cheers.
ready?
Is this cranberry?
Yeah, what is this?
Raspberry.
Raspberry.
They're so soft, unlike most
Oh my
scones.
god! Like her scones are moist, delicious, flaky, sweet yet not too sweet.
Oh my gosh.
Not good.
Best scone I've ever had. By far. Actually.
No, her scones are the best.
I ain't got a scone recipe.
I ain't got a scone recipe.
Wow, Rita.
Oh,
you.
thanks, you guys.
You really
Love
blessed
you.
us.
Love you guys too.